11 amazing underrated open-world games that are an absolute blast to play. There was a time when open-world games were more of a subgenre, but that has changed fast. Now it has established itself as a popular genre in itself, with almost 50% of modern games having such features. Gamers seem to thrive in the freedom to explore and even roleplay in large, expansive sandboxes. Such open-world games may be a popular hit today, but back in the day, the options were rather limited. After the astounding success of GTA 5, you must be eagerly waiting for GTA 6 to show up. During this waiting period, you can try out the following games to kill time. These might not be in the league of GTA, but are still pretty impressive. Red Faction Guerrilla, developed by Volition, published by THQ, PS3, PS4, Xbox 360. The setup is on Mars, where the world is divided into 6 distinct areas. The goal is to free each area from the oppressive Earth defense control. They were initially supportive of the Martian miners, but as the natural resources in the Earth run dry, they try acquiring resources of Mars. You play as Alec Mason, who assists the rebel group Red Faction to take control. However, the EDC forces attack you with all their might, and you have to rely upon a strategy to succeed. Red Faction Guerrilla is the third installment in the Red Faction series. This is a third-person shooter that is set in an open-world environment where the player takes up the role of Alec Mason while assisting the Red Faction. You can choose who, where, and when to battle and use some smart guerrilla tactics to enhance your combat capabilities. Your advanced weaponry and modified vehicles help you lead the attacks on the selected targets. The best thing about this game is how much it allows you to use your brain for strategy. For instance, you can blow up a staircase to stop your pursuers, blow up walls to drive your vehicles through, and many others. The remastered visual effects look great, and it offers a mind-blowing gaming experience. It's great fun to get hold of an enemy vehicle, drive it straight into an enemy building, and trigger an explosion to reduce the building to rubble. This game comes with multiplayer options as well, which is equally fun to play. The only issue is that the later missions become a bit too difficult, where it's almost impossible to survive the heated battles.
I might have to let go.
Not yet.
I have to let go now. No! Yeah, did you see that? You're lucky.
Sunset Overdrive, developed by Insomniac Games, published by Microsoft Studios for the Xbox One. In a futuristic world, most of the population has transformed into toxic mutants after consuming a contaminated energy drink. The developers of this drink, Fizzco, quarantine the entire region in Sunset City. The player, along with a few other survivors, try to make their way out of the region, but in vain. Eventually, they try to destroy the Fizzco headquarters to stop the outbreak. IGN awarded this game the best Xbox One game of 2014, and for good reason. Sunset Overdrive is a third-person adventure game that has impressed gamers from all over the world. The game turns an open-world apocalypse into a tactical playground where you have to make the best of the conditions prevailing. The arsenal is rather unconventional, and you have some unique weapons to choose from, such as the standard assault rifle AKFU and TNT grenade launcher. The latter shoots teddy bears strapped to dynamite sticks, which is hilarious to work with. There are a few main missions and several side missions that get triggered when you reach certain parts of the city. The combat is fast-paced and allow you cool moves such as wall running, ziplining, and other forms of acrobatics. Contrary to the norm, in this game, you can't really take out enemies silently, and agility is your best chance. The gameplay was praised profusely, as was the open world setting. Some gamers, however, complained about the repetitive mission design at times. Overall, this is still among the finest open world games to try your hand. The Saboteur, developed by Pandemic Studios, published by EA for PS3, Xbox 360. This game is set during World War II in France, where Sean is a race car mechanic and a drunkard. He prepares for the Saarbrücken Grand Prix race, but is cheated by Kurt Dierker, who turns out to be a Nazi SS commander. Soon, Germany invades France, and Sean works as a leader of a resistance group that fights against the Nazi occupation. They kill high-ranking Nazi officers, disrupt communication services, and other installations. This open-world adventure allows you to explore Nazi-occupied France, where the colors represent the status of each region. For example, the regions represented with bright red German symbols and swastikas have a large presence of soldiers. You must weaken them first to have a chance of occupying it with the help of locals who regain their hope following your actions. As you go ahead in this game, the abilities can be upgraded, such as the accuracy of the sniper rifle or a greater ammo count. The best part is when you sneakily walk around in a Nazi uniform, stealthily taking down the enemies. There was an additional downloadable patch called The Midnight Show, and this allowed you to move around brothels and new hiding spots where nudity was rampant. There were some issues with the compatibility of the game with the ATI graphics card, which was later addressed by the team. The graphics for this game are unique, something you probably wouldn't find in others. If you're up for a historical open-world game with all the thrills of guerrilla warfare, you have hit the jackpot with this one.
I don't see you! Prize is gone! There now! There now! No! Stick together! This is one clever fox!
Mad Max, developed by Avalanche Studios, published by Warner Bros., PS4, Xbox One. Max is a former highway patrol officer who now roams around the post-apocalyptic wastelands in his V8 Interceptor. When Immortal Joe's son steals his prized possession, Max goes all guns blazing to retrieve it. He's helped by Chumbucket, who modifies a new car to go after the warlords. Taking a leaf out of the movie, the makers ensure that you get the feel of the surroundings in this thrilling open-world game. Fans of the Mad Max franchise are in for a treat. This game offers you the perfect experience where you feel like you're out in the desert wasteland. The gameplay steals the show with creativity and excitement. In the initial stages, you'll go on a rampage, slamming into convoys and upgrading everything from tires to spikes. You can even get out of your car and take on some enemies, but you have to be fast enough to avoid getting killed. There are plenty of things to do in this game, from defusing minefields to taking part in death races. One particular race with Stank Gum, where he cheats at every instant, is pretty frustrating. While the brutal hand-to-hand combat is pretty satisfying, you will love the vehicular manslaughter as well. With the top-notch graphics and some unbelievable sandstorm effects, you have a visually brilliant gaming experience. The story could have been a tad better, but then, for good stories, you can always go back and watch the movies.
Back off! I'll kill her, man!
Taking this job.
Downstairs!
Sleeping Dogs, published by Square Enix for PS4, Xbox One, PS3, and Xbox 360. The vibrant and glamorous city of Hong Kong is ruled by the Triads, which is a dangerous gang operating in criminal activities. Wei Shen is an undercover cop who infiltrates the organization to take it down. However, once he fights his way up the organization, he is soon caught in two minds regarding whom to work for. Torn between his loyalties, he must risk everything as the lines between honor and greed blurs. There are so many great things about this open-world action game that we don't know where to begin. The design of the city is spot on, and it's a fascinating experience to drive around the city. There's a great variety of activities that you can indulge in as Wei Shen, from cockfights to illegal races. You have an array of exotic cars, superbikes, and even speedboats to enjoy a thrilling high-speed ride. The story is so interesting that you will always be intrigued to learn the things that unfold. The fighting gets pretty brutal and bloody at times, and tests the gamer's skills in some challenging situations. However, at times we have felt a problem with the shooting controls that aren't as smooth as they should be. While playing this game, you'll be impressed with the subtle control systems that are so responsive. Maybe the camera controls could have been better, as they sometimes go all wonky during driving or fighting. Overall, it's like a Chinese version of GTA, and for those looking for a different experience, ought to try it out. Driver San Francisco, developed by Ubisoft for Xbox 360 and PS3. While chasing the notorious Charles Jericho, an undercover cop is struck by a big rig. The impact with his car is serious enough he has to be hospitalized. While in a coma, he dreams about the chase still continuing. The gamer becomes part of his illusion where he's still tracking down Jericho. There are plenty of driver games in the market, so when we're asking you to play one, you probably will want to know what is so unique about it. For starters, the graphics are a killer in this one. Such is the quality that if you're a little distance away from the screen, you can't even tell if the people are real or not. Besides, the ability to shift into any car on the road is pretty innovative. You just move around in the air through a camera and pick the car you want to control to head to your destination. The game will remind you of the original driver at every stage through the fun car chases and cool cars. The way you can pull off drifts while driving is bound to appeal to the gamers. There are about 100 cars to choose from, and you will literally be spoiled for choice. The simplistic controls make sure that even for a beginner, the game is not unplayable. Some might argue that this isn't a genuine sandbox game, but with such an enhanced experience, we aren't complaining. Try playing this and let us know your views on the matter. Infamous Second Son, developed by Sucker Punch, published by Sony Computer Entertainment for PS4. Delson Rowe is just another rebellious youngster who discovers his hidden powers one fine day. While taking on an escaped convict, he finds out that he can channel his powers by the use of smoke, fire, concrete, and stuff like that. When his powers draw the attention of the DUP, he must battle them in an explosive showdown. It's up to the gamer to choose how Delson uses his powers, because he can do so for his own good or to save other people. This was one of the first games that announced to the world the special abilities of a PS4 with its all-new controller. This game is downright soothing to the eye, with some chaotic action to spice things up. Even the gameplay is an exciting prospect for die-hard gamers with some interesting powers at work. For instance, you get 3 powers: smoke, neon, and video, although you can use only one at a time. It's a wonderful experience to fight the superpowered goons and go on to destroy their bases. For such activities, you'll need the right strategy, so there's a scope for some innovation as well. The voice acting deserves a special word of praise for making it so realistic. The lead character is voiced by the legendary Troy Baker, and he makes it worth the effort. Watch out for the boss fights that will take up every last ounce of your gaming skill. While everything is so amazing about this game, sometimes the missions get a bit repetitive. We have marveled at this spectacular open-world action-adventure game, and we hope you will too. Far Cry 2, developed and published by Ubisoft for PS3, Xbox 360. A mercenary is being sent to Africa to nab a notorious weapons dealer named the Jackal. However, the mercenary gets caught in the middle of a raging civil war in the country. The Alliance for Popular Resistance, APR, is battling the United Front for Liberation and Labor, UFLL, and the Jackal is benefiting with his trade. You play the role of the mercenary as you try to track down the arms dealer with the help of other mercenaries and people from both factions. This open-world game is a first-person shooter that will give mixed feelings to the fans of the FPS genre. The mission-based game allows you to roam around 50 square kilometers of land where you'll be traveling through the war-torn countryside. There are assassination missions, interceptions of convoys, and even stealth missions where you assist the underground network. The game is a complete package that offers you a bit of everything. The vehicles on offers include trucks, gun wagons, jeeps, and you even have the choice of hand gliders, four-wheel drive vehicles, and swamp boats. You also have an incredible range of weapons to choose from. Your approach can vary from sneaking up on the enemy with silenced weapons to going all out, guns blazing. The graphics and sound are unbelievably realistic, with the sounds of African drums and wildlife echoing in the background. However, the strength of the game, which is the open-world nature, also becomes its weakness at times, and the extensive traveling that the gamer has to do in the game can get tedious. We think the ending could have been better, but we love this game too much to complain.
You just die already!
Nier Automata, developed by Platinum Games, published by Square Enix for PS4, Xbox One. The premise of the game is a war-ravaged wasteland where a conflict between the machines and androids has taken center stage. The machines were created by aliens while the humans crafted the androids. The game has you play as one of these combat androids and her companion as they go around eliminating the enemy. If you enjoy a dash of exciting storyline with your genre, Nier Automata will blow your mind. It might seem like a regular hack-and-slash RPG on the outside, but there's more to this game than what meets the eye. There are some interesting characters backed by a plot with some serious philosophy in the mix of things. The gameplay is like a gamer's dream, and the music used is a masterpiece that syncs perfectly with the content. The graphics are as good as it gets, and you hardly have a thing to complain about in terms of the visuals. As you fight for mankind against the murderous machines, you're bound to feel the sought-after adrenaline rush. The combat system is just perfect in this game, where you can use a variety of skills that look phenomenal on screen. Ever play a game that appeals to both the philosophical gamer and the trigger-happy enthusiasts? This one is it, and you have to play it to believe just how good it is. Ultimate Spider-Man, developed by Beenox, published by Activision for PS2, Nintendo DS. The story takes heart from the movies and explores the character of Venom. Spider-Man tries to take the Venom suit before it lands in the wrong hands. However, when Eddie takes a part of the suit for himself, a showdown is inevitable. You even have characters like Green Goblin wreaking havoc. In short, this is a dream come true for Spider-Man fans. One of the things that we like the most about this game is that you can switch from Spider-Man to Venom at any instant, and these two characters play differently. For example, Spider-Man is more agile of the two and can use his webs while traveling or in fights. Venom, on the other hand, is much more aggressive and nails it with his massive jumps. Another fun thing about Venom is that while roaming around, he must consume other people to stop losing health. Both characters will have certain goals for the storyline to continue. The graphics are breathtakingly beautiful and gives the perfect comic book vibe. We also love the somewhat of a GTA approach in the making of this game. The free roaming around the city is relaxing, and several things pop up to keep you entertained. The combat will remind you of the recent Arkham games, and it's a joy to watch Spider-Man in action. For some, the game is a bit too hard, but if you put your mind to it, there's no reason you won't succeed. Days Gone, developed by Sony Bend Studio, published by Sony Interactive Entertainment for PS4. The story is set in Oregon, where a pandemic has struck disaster. In a post-apocalyptic setup, a former outlaw realizes that his wife might still be alive. He sets out to find her through the dreadful lands filled with zombie-like creatures. He can use a wide array of weapons and firearms as he cruises on his motorcycle through the wastelands. Can he get to his wife before the zombies do? We're ending our list with this game because, hey, what's more relevant now than a special pandemic game? Besides the mildly relatable factor, you will enjoy the terrific graphics that make this a stalwart among the modern games. The storyline is smooth, and the characters are drawn up with just enough spice to make them stand out. The nice and slow build-up is just the right anticipation you need for the best gaming experience. This survival action horror RPG game offers a unique open-world environment where you make your own choices. The way you can modify Deacon's motorcycle to enhance its speed and durability is amazing. You can also craft your own weapons to deal with the threats along the way. You have tons of customization on offer, from looting, exploring, or even helping people. There are some minor technical glitches that you can overlook courtesy of the thrill on offer. We sincerely hope that this amazing game comes up with a sequel in the near future.